Hi, you're listening to This Is Not Your Practice Life. I'm your host, Macy Renee, and we are going on a journey together, my friends. I'm a certified life and emotional intelligence coach. And if you really want to step into your highest self, there are a few non-negotiables you're going to have to learn, and I am just the person to help you do it. No matter your past, I'm here to help you create a more fulfilling future. So stick around with me. Not only will I teach you how to navigate your brain's daily mind drama, but I'll help you actually understand your mind, your emotions, why you do the things you do, and why others do the things they do. Most importantly, I'll help you build the self-awareness skills to create whatever results you want. It's never too late to change the trajectory of your life. After all, this is not your practice life. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of This Is Not Your Practice Life podcast. I'm Macy Renee, and I am thrilled to have you joining me today from wherever you are. If you're brand new here, welcome to the podcast. I hope that you get everything you came for. And if you're a returning listener, as always, I am so grateful to have you back. So if you are brand new here, here is what I want to preface with. This is going to be a little bit of a non-traditional episode because I'm going to be talking about a trip that I just returned from that was amazing, but there are lessons wrapped up within that trip. If you're looking for the, traditional kind of podcasts that tell you how to change your mindset and help you become more self-aware, I would encourage you to go through some of the other episodes. However, do not mistakenly leave this one thinking you will not get value, because with every episode, my aim is to make sure that you get lots and lots of value. All right, you guys. So if you followed me on social media, this past week specifically, you saw that I was in Cabo, San Lucas, Mexico for a trip, and it was actually a work trip. So 6 years ago, I hired my very first life and business coach, and it changed the entire trajectory of my life. It was hard and it was painful at times. It was scary, but it was also a beautiful, amazing gift I gave to myself at 24 years old. I am so grateful for the 24-year-old version of me that was broke and scared and miserable and suffering and just really in a state of I don't even know what I want or who I am. I'm so thankful that that version of Macy did what she could do and was able to do to change the life that she was living to bring me to where I am now. Have gratitude towards the older versions of yourself that maybe have not felt good. Maybe you're in that place now where life just feels heavy and stressful, full of anxiety. Maybe you're not as present as you want to be. Maybe you don't make the money you want to make. Maybe you know that you have potential to be successful or do more and you just don't know how to get there. Have compassion and love for that version of you. And just know that if you're showing up to do this work, which if you're listening to this podcast, I imagine that's what you're doing, that you are on the right track, okay? And so just thank yourself for the decisions that you're making to change the trajectory of your life. So 6 years ago, later on this year, it'll be 7 years, I changed my life's trajectory by hiring my life and business coach. Now, 6 years later, I am a part-time contractor for her in one of her programs. So I carry my own load of clients in my programs and in one-on-one coaching. And then I carry her clients up to, I think the agreement is up to 20 hours a week. So I stay busy, but I love what I do. And I feel like this is what I was called to do and meant to do. So I have grown a lot, I have learned a lot, and I want to share some of the takeaways of this past week in Cabo, San Lucas, Mexico. So, first and foremost, the funny thing about this, which didn't feel so funny at the time, but it just goes to show the power of having a coached brain, is that 6 days prior to this trip, I had no idea that I was going on this trip. None of the contracted coaches knew that they were going. And, of course, we knew about the trip coming up. It's for her students. She does it every 6 months, and usually around 100 plus people go, including or not including all of the staff that are required to go for audio, because she teaches on stage and it's this whole to do. So like it's a big deal. They stream it for everybody that can't come. She has clients all over the world. And so it's a big deal. And I've watched her do it for several years. And I've been in awe of all of it. And I've always thought, oh my gosh, it would be so fun to be able to go and experience that. And so now that I'm contracted with her company, we thought maybe there's a potential that one day we'll be invited to go, but we don't know when that is or if it will ever be. 6 days before the event started, we get an email, myself and the colleagues that work for her, and they're like, you've been invited to go to Cabo, San Lucas, Mexico. Please respond to this email ASAP, letting us know if you're interested so that we can make sure there are rooms available. So here's the thing. I have I would say, very, very good coached mind. However, it doesn't take away the humanness of pure panic whenever you're thrown into a situation that feels very last minute. So I was like, oh my gosh, this cannot be happening. I'm so excited this is happening. Oh my gosh, is this really happening? Why would they give us just 6 days, right? I had all of the normal kind of human thoughts about it. Like, do I have outfits I can wear? This is going to be businessy. Do I need to go shopping? Absolutely, I'm going to need to go shopping. This is too short notice. I'm never going to be able to get everything prepared. What if there's not even a flight? Like, just all of the mind drama of having 6 days to figure out how to get my butt from Las Vegas to Mexico, and with the least amount of mind drama possible so that I could show up and do whatever it was that they asked me to do. So admittingly, my husband was helping kind of coach me along, because I had a few moments of like, oh my God, I'm so stressed out. Like, I'm so stressed out. And he was like, Macy, they're teaching you adaptability. Just breathe and be adaptable. So I had to laugh, because I'm like, okay, here's my husband now coaching me. Long story short, I get myself together, I buy my plane ticket, I get myself on the plane, I travel for the very first time all by myself internationally, and I make it safely to the resort. I meet my colleagues that I've only ever seen on Zoom. I meet them in person for the first time. It felt amazing to be able to hug them and talk to them in person. And then I find out as well that not only am I attending this event, but I'm going to be instructing the event, meaning that she does this process, and this is my very first coach, by the way. So I work for my very first coach's company. And, I find out that not only am I attending the event, but now I'm going to be instructing her students. So she does what's called breakout rooms, and that's where multiple coaches within her program come together, and they're students, right? And they're learning new concepts. And so I'm going to be there facilitating and coaching them where they get stuck, and then making sure that they're coaching each other and no one's leaving anybody behind. And so that was a new role for me as well. And that was a little bit nerve-wracking. So my very first takeaway, and what I thought would be fun to ask you, is how would you show up if you had this last minute opportunity presented to you that was going to push you completely out of your comfort zone, like flying international, going by yourself, not knowing what you were going to do whenever you got there, not having an itinerary, not knowing all of the details at once. Because as much as I wanted to message her entire team and be like, okay, please send me an email with A, B, C, D, E, F, G details. I want to know all the things. I need to be super prepared. There was none of that. None of it. It was basically like going into it blind and figuring everything out along the way. And now keep in mind, like her team was working overtime even to get us there. So I made sure to tell them a million times, thank you. Like your work is not going unnoticed. But it was just funny because they were complimenting us the last day. Like, gosh, you guys are so adaptable and flexible and just rolled with all the punches. And we're like, we're effing coaches. Like we manage our brain, we coach ourselves, we really do our best to manage any mind drama, and it's what we do. And it made me think about a lot of people in the world, right? Like, would you be the type of person that's like, I can't do that. That's way too short notice. I can't figure it out. Like, there's no way possible I can make that happen. Or would you be like, hell yes, oh my God, freak out a little bit and then pull it together and just roll with all the punches? And I would not have been able to do that 6 years ago. When I took my emotional intelligence assessment, as an occupational therapist when I started OT school, because I'm formerly an occupational therapist. For anybody new here, I worked in pediatrics with babies from birth to age 3. And sometimes I miss it, but I love what I do as a coach. But anyways, we were required as students back then in 2013 to take emotional intelligence assessments. And I didn't even know what emotional intelligence was way back then. But when I got my results back, I remember being disappointed by my scores because they fell below average and I felt like a hot mess express. And I just felt like I didn't have a lot of good skills when it came to stress tolerance and flexibility. So I'm thinking of how much I've grown even just in the last 6 years being coach. And I'm like, yep, I never would have been able to do that before coaching. I would have been freaking out. So I just want you to think about that in terms of your life. Like, do you roll with the punches and just figure things out? Or do you feel like you get really stressed out and the stress overtakes you and keeps you out of opportunities? Like, does your brain lean towards everything is figure outable, or does your brain lead towards I need to know all of the details before I can make a decision? And I just want to encourage you that if it leans towards I need to know all the details before I can make a decision, that sometimes we really keep ourselves from major levels of growth when we need to know everything before we can make a move. And so I'm actually going to be doing a podcast episode on that concept at a later time, because you guys, there is so much I want to teach you. There were already a million topics I wanted to cover, and then I went to Mexico and was surrounded in a room with such high-level thinkers that I was like, oh my God, there's so many episodes coming your way that are going to be jam-packed with value. But today specifically, what the theme seems to really be around is putting yourself in powerful rooms with powerful thinkers, okay? I really want to talk about this because that was my ultimate takeaway from being in Mexico and the experience of it all. So let me just tell you that when I got to Mexico, it was incredible. We stayed at the Grand Velas, or Vela, I probably am butchering the way that you pronounce it, but Grand Velas. And it's a super exquisite resort. It's gorgeous. Every single room has an ocean view. You could see whales nonstop. They were out like crazy. It was the most magical experience. The food was incredible. When we walked into the resort, not only was it breathtaking, but I was greeted by a woman that was my personal assigned concierge, which if you don't know what that means, it's basically like having your own butler that will handle whatever it is that you need through the duration of your trip. I mean, I have never in my life experienced that kind of luxury travel. So and as someone who grew up like low middle class, it was just, I almost had a hard time. I had to keep reminding myself to like take it all in and to be even a recipient of it because it was such a foreign experience for me. But I was greeted by her. She was so sweet. I was greeted by the most amazing mango margarita I have ever had in my life. I'm still dreaming about it, and I don't drink a lot of alcohol, but it was incredible. My bags were taken up to my room. They did turn down service. If you don't know what turn down service is, it's at night when the staff, I guess it's the cleaning staff, but they come in and they turn on the TV to a spa channel with very calming, wave crashing music and like birds chirping. They dim the lights in your room. They close the doors to the jacuzzi bathtub. They turn down the bedding so that you can just crawl inside of it. They put a little like chocolate on your pillow and a card for you to order room service if you'd like for the next morning. And they put fresh slippers down by your bed. And they just make everything so aesthetically like cozy for you to go to bed. And I have to tell you that the first night when I was leaving, I was rushing out of my room because P.S., we did not have downtime very much at all. It was nonstop go, 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 go. It was amazing and incredible, but I really didn't even have a chance to like breathe and take everything in. So I was running out of my room the first night, and one of the staff, she was pointing to my room because she wanted to do turn down service, and I didn't know or understand what she was really asking me. And I'm like, oh, you want to go in my room? And she was like, yes. And my room was kind of a mess. And I'm like, oh, no, you don't have to go in my room. And she kept trying to like, communicate with me like, oh, I'm going to like clean it up and turn down your bed. And I was like, no, it's okay. And so I put the little thing on the door, like, do not disturb, because I'm like, I have no idea exactly what she's asking me and I have to run out of the room. And when I was talking to my colleagues, they're like, did you get turned down service? Like they came in my room and they turned down my bed and they made it all cozy. And I'm like, oh, that's what she wanted to do. Oh, I did not know that. And I totally turned it down. So I allowed that to happen the remainder of my trip. And it was just like, can I get turned down service at home? I'm going to want my husband to start turning down the bed and let me crawl inside. Like it was just so fancy. But really, really amazing. And I had to laugh too because the concierge, like truly, as soon as you texted them, like my concierge was like over helpful. And I mean, everybody's was, but she was just like, whatever I can get for you, let me know. And again, it was hard for me to even receive that because I'm so used to doing so much on my own. And it was like, do you need this? I can come bring it to you. Oh, you're down at the pool? I'll come bring it to you. Or do you need me to get something? I'll go get it for you. Like I was listening to a video that my coach posted today, and someone had forgotten their makeup brushes. And the concierge asked if they needed anything. And they said, I forgot makeup brushes. And the concierge literally, after their, like, I don't know how long they work, but let's say 9 to 5, they left the resort and bought makeup brushes and had them for her the next day. And I had one of my colleagues, her luggage got lost because she had had a flight delay and then a flight cancellation. And so her luggage did not arrive the night that she got there. And so she didn't have underwear. She didn't have a toothbrush. She didn't have anything. And you would just text your concierge and it was like they were a magic fairy. They just make a toothbrush appear, underwear appear. Like it didn't matter what it was, whatever you needed, it was just like bloop. And it was a pretty amazing experience. I would ask for like breakfast or something, and within like 20 minutes, breakfast is rolling into my room. So that was all amazing. But here is the biggest thing that I will say. Like even if it would have been held at a Holiday Inn or something like that, I want to share with you the importance of putting yourself in rooms that make you really up-level your thinking. It's priceless, okay? When you put yourself in positions of growth around other people who are putting themselves in positions of growth, there are a few things that happen. One of the things that can happen is you might feel triggered by someone's success or their experiences, but it's not a bad thing. It's always an opportunity to look at what has been activated inside of you and decide why that is, right? And to really work through that and grow at a deeper level within yourself. The second thing is hearing from other people who are working on themselves, who have a level of thinking that challenges every single other person in the room. A new way of thinking, a new perspective, new thoughts that can serve you and land in a powerful way that is simply priceless. Like, I heard so many powerful things the last 4 days that I think just in itself has changed even the trajectory of my year and maybe the rest of my life. The third thing that I will say is putting yourself in rooms where people know and are developing the skill to hold space and support you in very vulnerable moments, in very raw moments, in moments where you are really putting yourself out there. That, again, is a priceless experience, because not everybody that you will be surrounded by in life has the capacity to do that for you. I was, listening to a video that my coach posted today where some of the people from her program, like, they stayed a day late, and they're all talking in the hot tub about just their takeaways from this, the past few days. And what I thought was very powerful that someone, or maybe a few of them, said was, when you are working towards goals that are important to you, whether it's family goals, life goals, success goals, career goals, money goal, like whatever your goals are, having a room of people that can truthfully, lovingly lift you up and support you through it and challenge you when you are not thinking highly of yourself is something that can really change your entire life. Because as much as your friends may want to support you, your family may want to support you, colleagues or coworkers or neighbors, right? Whatever. If they're not also engulfed in the same work that you're doing, a lot of times the advice that they give or the feedback that you get or the thinking that you're offered is going to be more rooted in their own beliefs and maybe even fear-based, of not intentionally, but sometimes keeping you exactly where you're at because of their own unintentional bias. So when you put yourself in rooms where other people are engaging in their personal work, right, their professional work, different types of internal work that you may or may not be doing, you really open yourself up to things that maybe you can't see, and you can receive it knowing that it's coming from nothing but love and someone who really, really wants you to succeed. And I just think about that because, there are many things that I am celebrating even in my own growth, and I can't go to everyone, even people that I love, with that growth and feel supported and truly celebrated without an undertone of like, ugh, right? And we don't realize that, but that undertone of that we receive from people who don't get it or don't understand can really feel toxic and heavy in trying to move forward to the things that you want out of your life. But when you celebrate those same milestones and the ways that you're growing and evolving with people who are also doing that and who get it and are able to hold space and support you, it's like receiving this very deep, energetic powerful hug from someone that you know is truly deeply in your corner and wants nothing for the best for you without any agenda, any compare and despair, any negative tone behind it, if that makes sense. And so that was a big takeaway for me this weekend, was like, no matter what I shared, whether it was vulnerable and brought me to tears, the people that I shared it with were moved to tears as well, right? And could open and crack their hearts open and share their vulnerabilities. And that was really powerful for me. I had some very vulnerable conversations with some of my colleagues, and we cried together. In fact, on the last day, I was having a conversation with one of my colleagues and expressing some things that I'm working through in my personal life. And she shared, her experiences with the same feelings early on in her life, and we were both crying. And then the photographer of the event had tapped us both on our shoulder wanting to get this really cute picture of us. And when we turned around, we were bawling our eyes out. And he was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And we're like, "No, it's okay." And he's like, "I just wanted to get your picture." And so I'm curious if that picture will make it somewhere to where I'll see it, where we're both filled with tears. But I kind of do hope that it's like that, because it's going to be something I carry with me forever. And even a conversation I had with another colleague that was very similar around the same topic. And we, cried tears together on the beach, and it was just a powerful moment. And so, moments like that, and then being able to share the professional wins that I've had and professional, challenges that I've had. And no matter who I shared it with in the room the last 4 days, I was celebrated, I was held, I was supported, I was seen, I was loved, I was challenged, I was uplifted, I learned, I grew, I made even mistakes. I experienced it all the last 4 or 5 days, and I felt nothing but love and support. And I was talking to another colleague in the hot tub the morning that we were leaving, and she said something so powerful that I thought about. And she said, being invited to this 6 days before it actually happened, and being asked to be an instructor, and knowing the responsibility of that, and coaching so many brains, and even the role that we're playing in this, now multi-million-dollar company, and the people who are coming and have the goal to grow in every way possible. She was saying how it creates almost this uneasiness, right? She has felt this uneasiness in her nervous system. And she said, but every time I feel that uneasiness in my nervous system, I think, as hard as this is, I know that I'm up-leveling in this very moment. I know that the anxiety that I'm feeling, and that kind of throat closing kind of feeling, is challenging me, and I'm going to be so much better because of it. And that really got me thinking as well, because even there were some moments where I had to step away from the group, and had to step away from, whenever we would get done working, where I had to retreat to my room. And some of you all may have seen that one night on Instagram, because my nervous system was so activated by uneasiness and just anxiety and overwhelm. But it's important to know, sometimes we can be feeling those feelings, and they're not a bad thing. They're uncomfortable, but it was really because I had pushed myself so much in the best ways possible. I pushed myself to face my fears and fly alone internationally. I pushed myself to go into something not knowing all of the details ahead of time, so that I could prepare my brain. I didn't know how to even prepare my brain, other than you either say yes to the opportunity and learn as you go, or you say no and, maybe regret it forever. And I know, looking back now, I would have regretted it, because by going, I realized how powerful it was to put myself in that room before I had all the answers, before I knew everything, before I even felt like the version of myself that could do that. So with all of this, I want to encourage you that put yourself in powerful rooms with powerful thinkers, okay, with people who are doing the work just like you. And I want to invite you to do that in the hybrid experience, my new program that is starting the first week of April. It's exactly why I created it. So last year, I really focused on a lot of my one-on-one I keep wanting to say students now because of my because of my coach, but my one-on-one clients that I was coaching, I really took into account all the feedback that they would say during their sessions that they might not even remember. And one of the things that I constantly heard from one-on-one clients of mine is, I love the work that I'm doing. It's stretching me and it's making me grow, and it's the hardest thing I've ever done for myself. But one of the things that I'm feeling is a bit of loneliness, because I wish I knew other people that were also doing this work. Like, I'm grateful I'm doing this work, but I can't talk to my family about it, or like if I do, they don't understand. I can't talk to my siblings or my best friends or my coworkers. Like, they're not going to get it because they're not doing it. And I really took that into account, because I know in my coaching experiences, I started with group coaching programs and putting myself in rooms with other thinkers that challenged me, and it made me feel a little bit out of my comfort zone, but it also stretched me, and it's where I really learned how to hold space for other people and have other people hold space for me in vulnerability and growth. And so I know how valuable it is. And I also know how valuable one-on-one coaching is, and I know how valuable it was for me to experience the in-person events. Like, after these last 4 or 5 days, it just solidified it to me that retreats and in-person events, like being in the physical energy of the people that lift you up, is so flipping powerful. There is nothing like it. And I wanted my people that love this work, that love listening to the podcast, clients, whether you're a former client and we haven't worked together in a while, or you're a current client, or you've just finished up being a client, like, I wanted the people in my world to be able to experience everything I've experienced in coaching that has really transformed my life. And I set on it for a very long time, in fact, over a year. And finally, when it came to me and I was able to birth the idea, what I birthed was the hybrid experience that is starting in April. You get one-on-one coaching with me every other week. You get a group call with all of your peers every other week. And as the program is coming to a close, you get a luxury in-person retreat in 30A, Florida. And I've rented out the most beautiful home. I'm so excited. And it's going to be amazing. Like, being in Mexico the last few days, it just made me even more excited for this program and for all of the people who are already in, and the people who will continue to join us through March 31st. So here is what is important for you to know if you feel that internal kind of voice where it's like, I really, really want to do it. I really want to do it. I don't know how yet. I've got to figure it out. Here are a few things I want you to know. One, the spots are limited due to the size of the home. I can only accommodate a maximum, a very, very maximum of 24. And right now, the home that I have accommodates about 15. So if we expand past 15, I can get another home on the books to hold up to 24. But I do want to tell you that the spots are limited and they are filling up. The second thing that I want to tell you is that if you need a payment plan to make this happen for yourself, the payment plan option is being taken off of MacyRenee.com, my website, on January 31st, 2023. And the reason being is because you need to be paid in full by the month that we are starting, which is in April. So if you do the payment plan, you have an opportunity to break it down into 4 payments. Get your first one in by January 31st. Your next one would come out by the last day in February. The next one would come out the last day in March. And then the next one would come out the last day in April, right? So It's just important that if you're needing a payment plan, you know that you only have 2 days to utilize that if you're listening to the podcast as soon as it comes out, okay? Other than that, it will be pay in full, and you can sign up all the way until March 31st or until the program sells out. When the program is close to selling out, I will be sending out emails letting you know to make sure you can grab a spot so you don't miss this. You're going to want to be in this program. It's unlike anything I've ever offered. In fact, I've never seen anything like it offered in the coaching industry. And I had a lot of my colleagues, which felt so good, this past week, asking me so many questions about it and just saying that when they saw me put it out there as an offer, they were like, that is incredible. That is something I think any one of us would have wanted, knowing that you get to experience coaching in all forms. And I'm excited about it because I really think that that would have been an amazing experience for me to be able to work with my coach one-on-one and be able to have my group calls and be able to go on a retreat, all bundled in the price of one. That is really, truly a no-brainer. Like if you paid for a retreat separate, my one-on-one coaching separate, and my group separate, you would be paying like $11,000. And it is listed at $6,500 pay in full, or you can do the payment plans, which bring it to $7,000. And so that is a no-brainer. You get to have it all. I don't know if I'll ever be able to offer it at this price again because it is very low for all of the things that you are getting. And I realize that as a business owner, but for this first time, with it being a brand new offer, I really wanted to, just see how all of this is going to come together with all of the people who are ready to say, hell yes, I'm ready to change the trajectory of my life and be in a powerful room where I'm going to be powerfully supported. So I hope to see you in there. I'm so excited. Schedule a consult call immediately if you need to chat. Otherwise, you can go to the website, click through, read the terms and conditions, put your payment in, and you're good. You've secured your spot. We will get started in April. All right. I have so much amazing content coming your way over the next few weeks. I'm excited to get it to you. And if there's anything you ever need, just know you can reach out. Have an amazing day. I'll see you guys later. Hey there. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of This Is Not Your Practice Life podcast. If you'd like to connect on social media, you can find me on both Instagram and Facebook at Macy Renee Coaching. And if you want to stay up to date on all of my offers, announcements, and inspirational emails, you can join my email list at macyrenee.com. In addition, if there's a way that I can further support you in your coaching journey, you can schedule a free 60-minute consult at macyrenee.com anytime you want so we can discuss the best options for you. I look forward to seeing you next week, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye.